Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for this special Q&A session. We have a special treat for you as I sit down with Cree Lambeck, the visionary behind Cherry Tree Counselling, to discuss her recently launched training course, Reclaiming Resilience, designed to teach therapists how to integrate the rewind technique for treating trauma with their clients. So I'm really excited to kind of get into the details of this innovative course designed to elevate the skills of therapists in trauma-focused care. And Cree has graciously agreed to share insights into the inspiration behind the course, its unique features, and how it stands out in the ever-evolving landscape of professional development in the mental health field. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the conversation. Welcome, Cree, and thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Amy, for that lovely introduction. Oh my goodness. I feel very flattered and humbled. Thank you so much. And thanks for this opportunity today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for joining us. So I'll get right to the first question here. How did you identify the specific needs or gaps in training that prompted the development of this new course for therapists?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think that really came out of my looking for tools myself in supporting our clients here at our clinic and noticing that although we have, so many wonderful tools and therapeutic modalities, I was also looking for something very specific. In my case, to treating reproductive trauma, because a lot of the folks that we work with here at Cherry Tree come from the perinatal community. And so then when I became aware of this technique and started to use it in everyday practice and noticed and experienced the results, that's when I sort of dug deeper into the training and the learning process and expanded the scope to really start using the tool
Mm.
to treat many different types of trauma beyond just the perinatal experience of birth injuries.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's amazing. So can you share some key principles or philosophies of this training program and how it might set itself apart from existing courses?
Mhm. Well, the rewind technique. So first, I just want to tell you a little story because I brought a little prop today, because this book is really special to me. I was reading this book. So this book's called Recovering from a Traumatic Birth, a Practical Guide by Alexandra Heath. Out of the UK, and it was published in 2020. And back at that time, I was just leafing through it late one night, looking for some tools, strategies, resources, supports for working with birth trauma. And there was a tiny little reference on page 61 to the rewind technique. And I didn't know what that was, but I was curious. So, of course,
Mhm.
I started looking it up and digging around and doing some research. And one thing kind of led to another. And I discovered this training program, went through the training, started using the intervention more and more in our practice. And again, just noticing those amazing results. And so, what I learned in my training and researching and learning about the rewind is that it's a very safe intervention. So sometimes our clients or patients might come to us and share with us experiences of feeling re-traumatized by a particular therapeutic technique or modality or tool. And the rewind is known to be non-re-traumatizing. It's considered to
Mm.
be a very, very safe intervention and has a very high efficacy rate. What also really drew me to learning more and practicing the rewind is how accessible it is. So for our clients who, for various reasons, need shorter term therapy, brief therapy, perhaps don't have the financial resources or health coverage to fund their therapy, or, for many, many reasons, just sort of need something really granular that they can come in, we can treat and see if it helps. And so the rewind is a very accessible and affordable therapy. It's also really, really flexible and adaptable. So what's amazing partly about it is that it can be used as a standalone intervention and delivered in as little as 1 to 3 sessions to see results, but it can also be integrated into a broader therapeutic context. So it can complement the tools that are already there in our toolbox and the modalities that we've already, that we love and that we're passionate about and that we're trained in. It can work together as a supplement. So there's all these very practical reasons. I'm a pretty practical person and practitioner, and I really like concrete, practical tools that I can take into my sessions, offer to clients, and see if they help. And so the rewind for me kind of checked all those boxes, and that's partly why I've been so excited to introduce it to more practitioners.
Yeah, it's so neat to learn where, how where you started out and how it came to this unveiling of this new course in Canada. It's really great to hear that story. Thank you for sharing. And it sounds like the tool is a really versatile tool that can be, like you said, implemented in a broader treatment plan, or it can be used to treat those, like in a very specific way to treat those symptoms. Yeah. And in what ways does this training course address the evolving landscape of mental health care, considering the changing needs of clients and emerging therapeutic approaches?
Yeah, that's a great question, Amy. Well, I think it's 2024. And so as practitioners, we need to be really nimble and adaptable and responsive. And we're post-pandemic. We're all learning how to pivot, what changes have happened in our field, in our world as a result, of this changing landscape in mental health, also the technological changing landscape of being able to offer, sessions from anywhere online, trying to be really responsive to our client and patient needs and preferences, and accessibilities. And so we need to really be very flexible in this work these days, to be able to deliver what it is we're hearing that our clients need and want from us.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we want to do. Really, we want to meet the client where they're at and their specific situation and resources. Sure. And in what ways do you feel the training emphasizes self-care and the well-being of therapists, recognizing there are unique challenges that they may face in their profession?
Mhm. Well, as therapists, I mean, we are exposed every day in our work to, human suffering and human pain and emotional injuries. This is what we sit with, and this is what we hold every day. And that's why in our training programs, of course, we learn about compassion fatigue. We learn about vicarious traumatization, of being on the front lines, of bearing witness, of everything that we hold and absorb and carry, in service to our clients. And so we need to take care of ourselves in this work. We know that. We talk about self-care. And we also need to do more than talk about it. We need to really practice it, right? Which can be challenging, when we're helpers, when we're serving the needs of others, and we're carrying these stories around with us. So the rewind not only supports our healing journeys in our clients, but also can be really protective and an effective tool for us in doing this work, so that we can help the clients, serve the clients who are coming to us, and bear witness not just to that pain and suffering, but also their healing and their recovery and their growth.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, especially with that high efficacy rate, right? And that feedback from the studies that have been done, to learn that it is really an effective tool. It really does help kind of, help with the symptoms, the involuntary recall of clients and what have you.
Yeah, and like we talk in the course about how, no one therapeutic modality or technique is going to be the right fit for all of our clients. We know that. It's not a cookie cutter approach, right? But I think that, when we talk about remaining adaptable and flexible and needing to pivot and meet clients where they're at, we need a big toolbox. We need a toolbox that's bursting at the seams, right? And so we can reach in to this toolbox where we have our evidence-based, techniques and strategies ready to go. We have a deep understanding and competency and skill in knowing how to use them and integrate them. And then we can offer our clients, what might be the best fit for their needs. So again, this
Yeah.
is one tool in the box of many, many tools.
Yeah, and just thinking from my own experience as a growing therapist too, like trauma work can seem very daunting. It can seem, and to have another tool that is so practical, but also so useful and very like the way that you teach it in your course is very supportive and helpful. I mean, it could mean a lot to therapists who feel maybe like they may not be as prepared to kind of address trauma in with their clients.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And I think in our supervision groups and consultation groups, we talk about this a lot. And this experience of feeling like, I'm not a trauma therapist, which is something I hear regularly from our students and our supervisees. But really, I mean, trauma is a universal experience. It's part of being human to be exposed to emotional pain and injury and distress. And so we're sitting with this every day as practitioners, as mental health practitioners, regardless kind of maybe the labels that we're using. And so, we need to feel confident and competent that we have what our clients need. We have something to offer them that is going to be transformational, that is going to be effective. And this is something, I've heard from lots of therapists that we might be missing. Maybe we haven't had the opportunity to take a longer, more intensive training or work through all of our certifications, for example, in some of the leading modalities here in Canada. But we still need those tools. And we notice when there's gaps and they're not there. So I think this is, again, just another tool that we can bring into the mix. And it's something very straightforward. It's really easy to learn. It's really accessible for both the therapist to learn and the client to receive. And we can take it right back and put it into practice immediately.
Yeah, that sounds so empowering and reassuring for somebody like other therapists such as myself. Yeah. And then beyond the acquisition of knowledge and skills in this course, how does the training foster a sense of passion or and purpose and resilience among therapists, contributing to their long-term fulfillment in the profession?
Yeah, great question. And I think that's it, right? We were talking about self-care earlier, and how are we going to be sustainable in the work? How are we going to continue to do this work when we know how heavy the work can be? We know how tough it can be and how that can accumulate over time. So again, one of the ways that we care for ourselves is, professionally, right? We care for ourselves personally in our personal life, what fuels us, what nourishes us, what feeds us, helps us to restore, and what helps us professionally. And again, I think when our clients come to us and we're bearing witness to that suffering up close, and we have something to offer, something that we believe in, something that we trust, something that has that very high efficacy rate that we know is safe. And we can say to our clients, I've got this, let's try it and see if it helps, right? That in itself can be deeply, like in my experience, fulfilling and empowering and help us grow our competence and our confidence in this work as well.
Yeah, yeah, to really connect with a modality such as this is really important to therapists, to stand behind the treatment plans or the focuses and approaches and tools that we have is really important, to offer that security to our clients as well. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, when we have solid training, a deep understanding of any modality or technique, we really feel it. It's that felt sense. And the more we use it, the more we put it into practice, the more that confidence grows and the more our clinical competency grows. And I think that our clients pick up on that. So, as you said, to have tools that we really believe in and stand behind and have witnessed the results, and then being able to bring that into our practices is something really special and amazing that we can offer. And it helps our own growth as therapists as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you for offering those answers to those burning questions and engaging in this wonderful conversation with me. Do you have any final thoughts that you can offer to, the community or any therapist that might be interested in taking the course?
Mhm. Well, I mean, I think, I'm just so excited to have this out there. And I really want people to learn more about the rewind. I think it can be a real game changer to our practices, the same way as it has been to mine. I know when I started reading about it, I had no idea what it was, but I was intrigued. And so if folks have questions, if there's anything you're wondering about, I've been writing on some of the posts, if you're rewind curious, right? And you're wondering, what would this look like for me in my practice with the population that I serve, with the approaches that I use, with my other training? Please don't hesitate to reach out because we love receiving questions from fellow practitioners. And at the end of the day, we really just want to share this amazing tool with as many helpers as we can. Yeah, and Amy also just wanted to make a special note because we really couldn't have gotten to this point without this amazing support of the Canadian Perinatal Mental Health Collaborative. They really backed this project in the early days, and we're so grateful for all of the good work they do every day in Canada in the perinatal population. They're doing amazing things. And then with us, with our experience of working with them in our practice and supporting this project. So we just want to give a special thanks and shout out to them.
Wonderful. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And anybody who's listening or watching, you're welcome to go on our website and check out the course under our programs and training. Okay, thank you.